So there's a kind of parallel story now going on in addition to the investigation into the death of this journalist from the Washington Post, Jamal Khashoggi, at the Saudi embassy in Istanbul, Turkey. And it relates to the seeming reluctance of the Trump White House to just fully say what seems to be very obviously the reality here, which is that Saudi Arabia was at minimum directly involved and likely specifically responsible for the death of this journalist. And we actually have a poll up on the David Pakman Show YouTube channel community tab at youtube.com/the David Pakman Show/community, asking you why you think we are seeing this reluctance from Trump to just really say what everybody else is thinking about it. And there's a sort of lying and optional lying, unforced error story that's developing as well, which is that Donald Trump has chosen to straight up deny that he has any financial interests in Saudi Arabia. The problem primarily is that he previously bragged about these financial interests that he now denies having, and it's all related to the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Yesterday, we were wondering about what would the White House's response be to the killing of Jamal Khashoggi by, as far as we've most recently surmised, Saudi Arabian interrogators inside the Saudi embassy in Istanbul, Turkey. And part of the skepticism that Trump would do anything serious about it came from his sort of bizarre parroting of this talking point that anybody could have killed Khashoggi. It could have been, quote, rogue killers. And then part of our skepticism about Trump doing a damn thing about this came from his general attitude towards authoritarian dictators during his presidency and towards violent theocracies, which is that he seems to be, quite frankly, pretty impressed with them and usually doesn't criticize them very much. But there is a third angle that should really make us particularly skeptical of Trump's handling of the death in a serious manner, which is the issue of Donald Trump's financial interests in Saudi Arabia, but also with Saudi individuals. And apparently, to try to sort of get ahead of this, Donald Trump tweeted yesterday that, quote, "For the record, I have no financial interest in Saudi Arabia, or Russia for that matter." I mean, why not mention that while you're at it? "Any suggestion that I have is just more fake news, of which there is plenty." Of course, not only is this a known, provable lie, Trump himself previously bragged about doing business with the Saudis. Here's just one of many, many examples I could play for you.
We need to make great deals with other countries. Saudi Arabia, I like the Saudis. They're very nice. I make a lot of money with them. They buy all sorts of my stuff, all kinds of toys from Trump. They pay me millions and hundreds of millions. But you know what? They make $1 billion a day, folks.
There are a ton of these. I won't bore you with them, but many of these instances where Trump says, I sell stuff to the Saudis, I do business with the Saudis, it's all great. When Trump first announced his bid for the White House in Trump Tower in New York in 2015, he said, I love the Saudis. Many are in this building. Trump has tons of deals with the Saudis. Trump World Tower sold a building to the Saudi government. Trump bought a yacht originally built for a Saudi arms dealer who happens to be the cousin of Jamal Khashoggi. That's a connection that maybe we will talk more about. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia has been staying at Trump's hotel on the west side of Manhattan while Trump has been president of the United States. There's a Saudi billionaire who bought a yacht from Trump in 1991 for $20 million, timed, by the way, to help Donald Trump stave off personal bankruptcy. It's a very long list. So as usual, Trump is lying. That's not new. But what's significant is that now it's Russia. Now it's also Saudi Arabia, where Trump's personal connections to rich people in the countries could directly influence how Trump handles geopolitics and American policy related to these countries. In this case, we're talking about the reaction to the killing of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. It's gone beyond pathological lies. And I was thinking yesterday, Pat, wouldn't it sort of be smarter and more realistic, instead of lying and saying, I have no financial involvement with the Saudis, right? What if Trump said, I have financial ties to people all over the world because I'm a successful business person, but I'm the president now, and I'm not going to let that influence my decisions. Like, wouldn't that be, it would still not be believable, but at least it's not a demonstrable lie.
That's what someone rational would do. But you could go many steps beyond that. Like Trump could divest from his businesses and put his assets into a blind trust. So even if at one time he had ties to the Saudis, he would no longer be influenced by that. He would no longer have a conflict of interest.
He's
and
not done
you could
that.
go beyond that too and release your tax returns. But that's a little pie in the sky at this point.
There were actually Trumpists on the internet defending the letter of what Trump said by arguing that to Donald Trump, the definition of financial ties might just be something different than the list of what I told you, selling yachts, selling stuff to the Saudi government in his buildings. All maybe to Trump, it's technically what he believes, so it's not a lie. It's a semantic disagreement. Is that really the best that you can do to try to argue that Donald Trump is not lying here? The Saudi financial thing is really serious. And Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman previously said, we covered this, it might have been July, I don't remember exactly. Mohammed bin Salman previously said that he has Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, in his pocket. Okay? This is not without precedent. We've already been concerned about this. And what I want to hear from you about, and you can vote on this on our YouTube community poll, what do you think is the primary driver of this reluctance from Trump to really go after Saudi Arabia here? YouTube.com/The David Pakman Show/community. And you can vote there. Maybe we will have results in a few days on an upcoming show.